take a moment and really feel it. That knot in your stomach, that racing heart, that constant hum of worry in the back of your mind. Do you ever feel like you're caught in an invisible rip current, being dragged further and further away from peace, from clarity, from genuine happiness? We live in a world that often feels like it's spinning out of control. Every day, we're bombarded with reasons to be stressed, anxious, angry, or afraid. They were emperors, slaves, playwrights, and merchants. People who navigated lives filled with immense challenges, loss, political intrigue, and personal hardship. They understood that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we always control what happens within us. This fundamental insight is the key to mastering your emotions. Think of Seneca, exiled and facing constant threats. Epictetus, born into slavery and enduring physical hardship. Or Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire at war, suffering personal tragedies, and battling chronic illness. Yet, through their writings and their lives, they demonstrated a remarkable capacity for tranquility, resilience, and wisdom. Our inboxes overflow, our to-do lists multiply, and the news cycle seems determined to convince us that catastrophe is always just around the corner. It's easy to feel helpless, isn't it? To believe that our inner peace is entirely at the mercy of external events. But what if I told you that this feeling of being overwhelmed, this constant emotional reactivity, isn't an inevitable consequence of the world we live in? You'll gain a deeper sense of self-control, a robust resilience to adversity, and a profound, lasting inner calm. It's like trying to move a mountain by sheer willpower, utterly futile and utterly exhausting. It's the foundational principle upon which all other Stoic practices are built, and it's the ultimate guide for where to direct your precious energy and attention. So, quiet your mind, open your awareness, and let's embark on this transformative path. Traffic jams, the weather forecast, that rude comment from a colleague. This is perhaps the most powerful and often overlooked area of control. Do we have an aversion to discomfort or injustice? They are our true possessions, our personal sphere of influence. Do we desire fame or wisdom? Other people's opinions of you? The outcome of a sports game? The political climate? The past mistakes you can't undo? They are largely, if not entirely, outside of your control. Every thought you entertain, every choice you make, every effort you exert, these are all directly, unequivocally, up to you. What do all these things have in common? It's about fundamentally transforming your relationship with reality. What if I told you there's an ancient, profound wisdom that offers a proven path to unshakable calm? A way to cultivate an inner fortress that no external storm, no matter how fierce, can breach? We can influence some of them, yes, but we can never truly dictate their ultimate outcome. This isn't about escaping reality or becoming emotionless robots. It's about reclaiming your mind, your agency, and your serenity, even amidst the chaos. You stop spending precious mental and emotional energy on things you cannot change. Instead, you redirect all that power and focus onto your own thoughts, choices, and actions. This isn't about apathy. It's about intelligent allocation of your most valuable resources. It's about Stoicism, a philosophy born over 2 millennia ago, yet surprisingly, powerfully. My response to it, whether I choose frustration or patience, whether I complain or use the time productively, that is entirely within my control. It's a proactive mental exercise designed to inoculate ourselves against emotional shock and build robust resilience. By mentally rehearsing potential adversities, we strip them of their power to surprise and overwhelm us. If the answer is no, consciously acknowledge that, take a deep breath, and redirect your focus to what you can control in that moment. Perhaps it's your attitude, your next action, or simply your acceptance. We're told to think positive, to manifest success, to avoid anything that might bring negative energy. But the Stoics, with their deep understanding of human psychology, saw this avoidance as a weakness, a source of anxiety. By refusing to contemplate potential difficulties, we leave ourselves utterly unprepared and emotionally vulnerable when they inevitably arrive. For a deeper dive, try this. At the end of the day, list 5 things that caused you stress. Next to each, write C for controllable or U for uncontrollable. You then visualize how you would respond with virtue, reason, and resilience. How would the ideal, rational, courageous version of you handle this challenge? Then, for each U, write down one thing you could control about your response to it. A loud noise, a specific email, a glance from a stranger. These are just impressions. You'll quickly see patterns and gain immense clarity. How would you act virtuously? How would you maintain your composure? When you regularly consider losing things you value, your health, your relationships, your possessions, you begin to appreciate them more profoundly in the here and now. The simple act of having them becomes a source of quiet joy rather than a given. This simple shift changes everything. It's the first, most crucial step towards unshakable calm. He elaborated on this by explaining that external events, or impressions, are inherently neutral. They are simply raw data sensory input from the world around us. Close your eyes and choose one potential evil to contemplate. Play out the scenario in your mind, but always bring it back to your controllable response. What is the least amount you could allow this event to disturb your peace? You'll find that by mentally confronting your fears, they often shrink in size, and your confidence in handling life's uncertainties grows exponentially. But he also said, if a man has anticipated the attack, he has disarmed the enemy. Now, let's get into the moment-to-moment, second-by-second battlefield of our minds, the distinction between impressions and judgments. This is arguably the most immediate and powerful Stoic technique for gaining mastery over your emotional reactions in real time. The raw impression itself doesn't inherently cause suffering. It's our immediate, often unconscious, and frequently irrational judgment that does. We leap from fact to fiction in a heartbeat, and then we react to the fiction as if it were absolute truth. The premeditation of evils is a form of mental training. This pause, this microsecond of conscious awareness, is your moment of ultimate freedom and power. Instead of letting your emotional knee-jerk reaction take over, you interject with a series of questions. Just as an athlete trains their body for a race, we train our minds for life's inevitable challenges. Perhaps they were distracted, deep in thought, didn't see you, or were having a difficult morning. By questioning your initial judgment, you open up possibilities and disarm the emotional trigger. It's about being the best possible version of yourself. Not for external reward. It's knowing how to act rightly in complex situations, making sound judgments, and understanding the world as it truly is. It's about knowing what to seek and what to avoid, and what isn't worth pursuing at all. It's recognizing our interconnectedness as human beings, and acting in a way that benefits the greater community. It means fulfilling your duties and obligations. But because it is the only true path to eudaimonia, a state of flourishing, of deep contentment and well-being. And choose the most rational and ethical path, rather than reacting out of fear or greed. It's about knowing when enough is enough, avoiding excess, and exercising rational control over your emotions and passions. It's about not being a slave to pleasure or pain. Because when your actions are consistently guided by these principles, you are always acting within your sphere of control. And to accept what you cannot change. You are prioritizing your character, your choices, and your integrity, the only things that truly belong to you, over fickle external outcomes. The Stoics believed that virtue is the only true good, and everything else, health, wealth, reputation, is indifferent, neither good nor bad in itself, and certainly not a reliable source of lasting happiness. The evaluations and the emotional labels we immediately attach to those raw impressions. If you know you acted justly, You won't be easily rattled by false accusations. If you know you approached a challenge with courage and wisdom, you won't be consumed by regret, regardless of the outcome. Your peace is then rooted in your own unassailable character, not in the unpredictable tides of external fortune. This is true freedom. This is true power. They identified 4 cardinal virtues, pillars that support a truly flourishing life. Then, actively search for the underlying judgment you just made. Was it, "This is terrible? This is unfair"? It's the strength to face fear, adversity, discomfort, and uncertainty with resilience. It's the courage to speak your truth, to do what's right, even when it's unpopular, to persist in the face of setbacks. The power lies in your ability to withhold assent from unhelpful or irrational judgments. What's another way to see this? You don't have to agree with every thought that pops into your head. Our judgments are the interpretations, the stories. You choose what thoughts you let in and what stories you allow to take root. It's not about suppressing emotions, but understanding their source. When you address the faulty judgment, the negative emotion often dissipates naturally, like smoke without a fire. This is an ongoing, moment-by-moment practice. When you feel a negative emotion arise, anger, frustration, anxiety, sadness, stop. Label the emotion. They are disrespectful? Once you identify the judgment, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this absolutely true? The more you practice, the faster you'll become at intercepting unhelpful judgments and choosing a more rational, peaceful interpretation. This small pause is where your true emotional freedom lies. We've equipped ourselves with tools for discerning control, preparing for adversity, and filtering our perceptions. But what guides these choices? What is the bedrock upon which genuine, lasting tranquility is built? For the Stoics, the answer was unequivocally virtue. And it is these judgments, not the impressions, that are the true source of our emotional distress. When a difficulty actually arises, it won't feel completely alien or catastrophic. You will have already visited that territory in your mind, explored potential responses, and affirmed your ability to navigate it. The emotional shock is significantly reduced, replaced by a sense of preparedness and calm resolve. Okay, I understand what I can control, but how do I deal with the unexpected blows? What about the real tragedies, the genuine losses, the sudden curveballs that life inevitably throws? This brings us to one of the most counterintuitive, yet profoundly effective Stoic practices, premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Their choices are their own, and profoundly relevant to every single one of us struggling with the demands of modern life. The Stoics were not detached academics living in ivory towers. Their secret lay not in wishing away problems, but in fundamentally changing their approach to them. In this comprehensive guide, we will unlock the core principles and practical techniques of Stoicism that can empower you to cultivate profound inner peace, the dichotomy of control, learning to discern what is truly yours to manage and what isn't. Premeditatio malorum, proactively preparing your mind for life's inevitable setbacks, disarming anxiety before it takes hold. Impressions versus judgments, mastering the art of not reacting to raw data, but choosing your interpretations. This is where your power lies. Living with virtue, discovering your unshakable inner compass, and building an internal fortress of character. Embracing impermanence and the cosmic perspective, finding liberation in the acceptance of change and your place in the grand scheme. By the end of this journey, you won't just understand Stoicism. You'll have a practical toolkit to begin living it. At the very heart of Stoic philosophy lies a concept so simple yet so revolutionary that it can single-handedly dismantle much of our daily stress and anxiety: the dichotomy of control. Think about all the things that consume your mental energy, that spark your frustration, or ignite your worry. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, argued that a tremendous amount of human suffering stems from trying to control, or even just agonizing over, things that are simply not up to us. Instead, They meticulously divided the world into two distinct categories: things we control. Ask yourself, is this within my control? These are the things that fall squarely within the domain of our will. Our opinions and judgments, how we interpret events, people, and circumstances. Our desires and aversions, what we choose to pursue and what we choose to avoid. Our impulses and actions, what we choose to do, how we choose to respond, the effort we put in, the words we speak, the kindness we offer. Our character, the values we uphold, the virtues we cultivate. This is a lifelong project entirely within our power. How would I respond? This is your true domain. These are the things that are external to our will. Other people's actions and opinions. We can persuade, inspire, or communicate, but we cannot force anyone to think or act a certain way. External events, the weather, natural disasters, economic downturns, political outcomes, the actions of strangers, accidents. These are the unfolding of fate. Our body. While we can care for our health, we cannot guarantee freedom from illness, injury, or the natural process of aging and death. Our reputation. How others perceive us is ultimately a reflection of their judgments, not entirely within our grasp. The past, it is immutable. What's done is done. The profound liberation offered by the dichotomy of control is this: when you truly internalize it, you stop waging futile wars against reality. Imagine the immense relief. When you catch yourself stewing over a delayed flight, you recognize, the flight delay is outside my control. Start by noticing. Throughout your day, when you feel a surge of frustration, anger, or worry, pause. Now, you might be thinking, the modern mind often shies away from thinking about potential misfortunes. Premeditatio malorum is not about being a pessimist. It's not about dwelling on negativity or inviting bad things to happen. Quite the opposite. How it works. Regularly, deliberately, and calmly, take time to contemplate what could realistically go wrong in your life. What if I lost my job tomorrow? What if a cherished relationship ended unexpectedly? What would my first steps be? They must be angry. I've done something wrong. They don't care about me. They think I'm incompetent. My career is over. What if I faced a significant illness or a loved one did? What if my current plans were completely derailed by an unforeseen event? What if I were publicly criticized or misunderstood? But here's the critical, transformative step. You don't just imagine the bad thing happening. What practical steps would you take? What emotions would you choose not to entertain? What resources, both internal and external, would you draw upon? The judgment, they hate me, is a story. How would you maintain your inner peace and integrity, even amidst the external storm? Seneca, one of the most eloquent Stoics, advised, he robs the present who is too much concerned about the future. This practice also cultivates a deep sense of gratitude for the present. Practical application. Dedicate 10 to 15 minutes once a week to this practice. Find a quiet space. We've talked about what we control and how to prepare for challenges. Epictetus, the great Stoic teacher, famously declared, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The problem, Epictetus argued, isn't the impression itself. It's the judgment we almost instinctively layer on top of it. Consider these common scenarios. Impression. Your friend walks past you without acknowledging you. Automatic, unhelpful judgment. They're ignoring me. Resulting emotions. Hurt, anxiety, anger, self-doubt. Impression. Your boss gives you critical feedback on a project. Automatic, unhelpful judgment. I am a failure. Resulting emotions. Despair, shame, fear. See the pattern? The Stoic practice is to create a pause between the impression and the judgment. Is this truly objective? Or am I adding a layer of interpretation? What's the absolute minimum, factual description of this event? What's the evidence for this particular judgment I'm making? Is there another, more neutral, or even positive way to interpret this impression? Does this judgment align with reality, or is it based on my fears' assumptions? When your friend walks past, the impression is just that. Your friend walked past. This practice empowers you to be the gatekeeper of your mind. In Stoicism, virtue isn't just about being good in a conventional sense. It's about living in complete alignment with reason and our highest human potential. Wisdom. This is practical wisdom, the ability to discern what is truly good, what is bad, and what is indifferent. Example. Faced with a difficult decision at work, wisdom guides you to gather facts. Consider the long-term impact justice. This isn't just about legal justice, but about fairness, integrity, and treating others rightly. Example. Upholding an agreement even when it's inconvenient, speaking up against injustice, or giving credit where it's due, regardless of personal gain. Courage. Not merely physical bravery in battle, but moral courage. Example. Having a difficult but necessary conversation, admitting a mistake, or continuing to strive for a goal despite repeated failures. Temperance. This is discipline over your desires, impulses, and appetites. Example. Resisting the urge to overeat, controlling an outburst of anger, or delaying gratification for a greater good. Why is living virtuously so absolutely essential for emotional mastery? When you live virtuously, you become an inner fortress. At the end of each day, engage in a Stoic evening reflection. Ask yourself, where did I act with wisdom today? Where could I have been more thoughtful or discerning? Where did I demonstrate justice? Did I treat others fairly, keep my promises, act with integrity? When did I show courage, or when did I shy away from a necessary difficulty? Did I exercise temperance in my desires, my reactions, my consumption? Be honest, but non-judgmental, and fosters deep gratitude, the Stoic understanding and acceptance of impermanence, and our place within the vast cosmos. This daily examination strengthens your moral muscle and gradually aligns your life with these powerful virtues, making them your natural default and your source of profound, lasting peace. We cling to people, to possessions, to jobs, to our youth, to our health, to favorable circumstances, as if they are permanent fixtures in an ever-changing world. You have already contemplated it, accepted it as part of the natural order. The Stoics encouraged us to regularly zoom out and consider our individual lives against the backdrop of the entire universe, its vastness, its ancient history, and its intricate, rational order. The pain of loss is real, but the suffering born of resistance and shock is significantly diminished. But from a cosmic perspective, their significance often shrinks. He imagined looking down on the earth, seeing the bustling cities, the striving humans, their brief lives. This perspective fosters humility, alleviates self-importance, and helps us to prioritize what truly matters. Read about geology, astronomy, or deep history. When a problem feels overwhelming, ask yourself, how significant will this be in a year? In 5 years? To the universe? This practice is incredibly grounding and helps to detach from unnecessary emotional entanglement, fostering a profound sense of peace and interconnectedness. Think about a beloved possession and imagine its eventual wear and tear. Reflect on a cherished memory and accept its status as a past event. Then, bring your attention back to the present and appreciate what you have right now. Our anxieties, while valid in our immediate experience, become less overwhelming when seen as tiny ripples in an immense ocean. It's not a destination you reach overnight, but a lifelong journey, a consistent practice that requires dedication and patience. There will be days you falter, moments you forget, but the path is always there, waiting for you to return to it. This doesn't negate our feelings. It simply helps us to avoid magnifying them beyond their true scale. It also connects us to something larger than ourselves, a sense of belonging to a grand, unfolding natural process. You can grieve, Yes, but you can also adapt and move forward with greater peace. This wasn't meant to be morbid or depressing. Quite the opposite. By internalizing that everything is temporary, that everything is borrowed from the universe for a time, we achieve two powerful things. But everything, absolutely everything, is in flux. Life is a constant process of becoming and ceasing to be. Identify just one area in your life where you frequently feel emotionally hijacked. Perhaps it's your daily commute, checking social media, interactions with a particular person, or even just the morning news. Now, choose one Stoic technique we discussed today, the one that resonates most with you right now. We've covered practical tools for daily emotional management. Now, let's ascend to a higher vantage point, one that offers profound liberation from our anxieties. You don't need to be a philosopher or live in ancient Rome. Notice the subtle, yet powerful, shift in your emotional landscape. The journey to unshakable calm isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistent, small, conscious choices. May your journey be filled with wisdom, resilience, and profound, unshakable calm. You can begin right now in your everyday life with all its complexities and challenges. Tell me one specific Stoic practice you're going to try in the next 72 hours. And I truly want to hear from you. In the comments below, let's build a community of conscious, calm, and resilient individuals together. Much of our suffering arises from our desperate clinging. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves of this fundamental truth. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently reflected on the fleeting nature of life and all its contents. Profound gratitude for the present. When you understand that your loved ones, your good health, your current opportunities are not guaranteed and will one day pass, you appreciate them infinitely more now. You savor the moments, cherish the connections, and truly live fully in the present, unburdened by the fear of future loss. Equanimity in the face of loss. When the inevitable change or loss occurs, you are not blindsided. Coupled with impermanence is the cosmic perspective. When we are caught up in our daily dramas, a petty argument, a traffic delay, a minor personal slight, these things can feel utterly consuming. Marcus Aurelius frequently practiced this view from above. Consider that these cells are constantly renewing, changing. Practical application. Take moments throughout your day or dedicated time each week to practice this zoom out. For impermanence, look at your hand. For the cosmic perspective, spend time in nature, observing its cycles of growth and decay. Lie down and look at the night sky. You've now walked through the powerful, timeless principles of Stoic emotional mastery. You've been introduced to the dichotomy of control, empowering you to focus your energy on what you truly own, your internal responses. Premeditatio malorum, disarming the shock of adversity by proactively preparing your mind for life's inevitable challenges. The distinction between impressions and judgments, equipping you with a vital pause that allows you to choose your emotional reactions. The guiding force of virtue, building an unshakable inner compass of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. And the liberating perspective of impermanence and the cosmic view, finding peace and gratitude in the acceptance of change and your place in the grand scheme of existence. Stoicism is not a passive philosophy. It is a philosophy of action, of continuous self-improvement and rigorous self-awareness. The rewards, however, are immeasurable. A dramatic reduction in anxiety and chronic stress. An extraordinary increase in resilience in the face of any adversity. More harmonious and fulfilling relationships, rooted in understanding and respect. A profound sense of freedom from external pressures and the whims of fate. And ultimately, the cultivation of an unshakable calm that allows you to navigate this chaotic world with grace, wisdom, and genuine inner peace. The power to transform your emotional life is not out there, waiting to be found. It is already within you, waiting to be unleashed. So here's your call to action. your first step on this transformative journey. Will you practice identifying what's within your dichotomy of control when frustration arises? Observe what happens. Will you take a few minutes tonight to perform a brief premeditatio malorum for a small upcoming challenge? And share it with someone you know who could benefit from this powerful message. Will you consciously pause between an impression and your judgment the next time you feel a negative emotion surge? Commit to applying that single technique for the next 72 hours. If this video has resonated with you, if you feel even a spark of possibility, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel for more timeless wisdom. Thank you for watching.